Yes, yes, yes. Oh, you know what that sound means. It's time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. We are back in the Great White North. Back in Montreal for the 52nd time is the Canadian Grand Prix. And while you're there in Montreal, take a little trip back in time in old Montreal. The streets and building look like a little bit of Paris. Hit the shops, hit those restaurants, get some of that poutine. I like the poutine. How about you, my friend?
You talk about the poutine every year on the show. You got
Well,
anything else you can eat up there?
poutine is damn good, son.
Poutine makes me fart.
Thanks for that information. And maybe stop by the Notre Dame Basilica, see those twin towers, but no trip to Montreal is complete. Unless you take a trip to Casino de Montreal. Let's hit those tables. Put it up Black 13, the man said. But this isn't no travel show. This is an F1 show. We're racing at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, 2.71 miles, 14 corners, 3 DRS zones. You give it the full beans for 61% of your lap. And what an interesting weekend we got this weekend. A little rain and quali added some spice. And then the race was full of intrigue. Max got away early and scooted away, as per usual, but not the usual dominant Red Bull. As Red Bull would even say themselves, upgrades by Aston and Merc have helped out. They closed the gap, maybe a little bit of a hair. But for the 100th time, Red Bull's on top of the podium. Max with the win, Alonso second, Hamilton third. Oh, baby, we're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
I need to slap my goddamn tail for that.
Yeah, that's wrong. That's a little early.
I gotta break the slap that early,
slap
man.
your own damn self for that.
I might have to slap myself in the production booth there. That was a production slap. You need to slap, there it is. Is Canada the furthest north race we have now? Like latitude wise? Or would it be longitude wise?
That I'm not sure of.
Now that Russia is out?
Well, where the Russian Grand Prix was, that was like south of like
south
Baku.
As well. Just I don't know. I'm not good at these things.
It still might be Great Britain. The British Grand Prix still might be the
Montreal is fairly far south. In the Paddock F1, Greeny and the Cheese, we're back.
This ain't no geography show. This is an F1 show,
sir. It's not a geography show. I know it's north of the equator. That's about all I know about that. Yeah, here we are. We are back. And the Canadian Grand Prix, we were talking 2 weeks ago if it was going to, I was sitting here in New York City and the entire city turned orange and was massively polluted, but I'm glad we were able to get the race in and the wildfires did not stop it. And what a race it was. A sloppy weekend all around, a little rain mixed in there during qualifying. A bunch of walls got kissed and a little more. Yeah, how you feeling about the race? Like you said, Verstappen was not the usual Max Verstappen. Maybe it's because those upgrades. Merc looked very good until they didn't. Russell had that unforced error. He hit the wall hard. George did.
Mm-hmm.
He hit the wall hard. And that car probably should have been retired at that point. He knew it. If you heard the radio, he knew it.
Oh, he said right away, I'm sorry, guys, we're out.
We're out. But they put him back out there, and we'll get to a little more about that later. But the ageless Fernando Alonso strikes again. Unbelievable. Sergio Perez, equally unbelievable in that car. He can't get anything going. Curse to the second seat in Red Bull. And Lewis Hamilton. I mean, the man has won here 7 times. He was trying to make it 8. Right at the get-go, passes Alonso. Him and Alonso battle in the whole race. Come on now. Combined age of 79. You got a 38-year-old and a 41-year-old battling there for second place.
That was good fun. That was good fun.
That was a lot of history right there. And yeah, just a little bit of a surreal day, especially with all the penalties, the starting grid. Very little reliability, I would say, outside of the top 7 drivers. I'm going to include Sergio Perez, of course, in there, along with the Ferraris. the Mercs and Fernando Alonso, and you have that top 7 group, and it's kind of like everyone else now. And that's kind of how things are shaken about. And really, between those 8 to 20, you never know what you're going to get. Logan Sargent, first DNF of the year, first race he didn't finish of the year so far. Interesting day. And the Ferraris, you started 10th and 11th and finished 4th and 5th. You got to be a little bit excited about that. A little bit of fist pump. No podium, but just about as close as you can get for both your drivers, especially during qualifying and pretty much the entire
disaster,
week.
the absolute disaster in qualifying. Listen to your driver on the track, for God's sakes. Just a mess. But yeah, the good recovery strategy actually panned out for a change. It was an absolute mess. So definitely a positive, but I can't trust them. You can't trust them. You can't trust them. I want to see this on a week-to-week basis. No fist pumps. No fist pumps. Not yet. Not yet. Got to get on the podium for a fist pump.
All right. That was my next question. If you put a third up there, if Leclerc slipped into third, fist bump. Fist big time. And Mercedes made those upgrades, and that's keeping Ferrari off the podium now. Mercedes is still staying one step ahead again and again and again of Ferrari. Mercedes continues now.
That is your exact example of a well-run team versus a team that is not run well. Let's be dead honest. Ferrari's a mess. Absolute mess. Matteo, you fire him. I keep going over this every damn week, but you fire him, you bring in Frank. Why the hell did you bring in Frank? Frank doesn't seem like he has a goddamn clue what he's doing. You should have went for Seidel, who's over there in Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo looks revitalized now with different management there. Frank leaves Alfa. Well, maybe Frank was the problem at Alfa because now they're moving in the positive direction under Seidel. It's a mess. It's a mess. They keep making bad move after bad move after bad move after bad move. And they just go, we'll fire this guy. Fire them all. Fire them all, to be honest. You don't listen to your drivers. Your drivers are telling you what tire we should be on, and you tell them, no, stay out. The driver will know what tire to be on. He's on the track. Everybody else did what their driver did, and they were on the tires quicker than you were. Disaster. Good performance, 4th and 5th, but I got to see it on a regular basis. There's going to be another disaster, something stupid, locking the rears up or doing something stupid by somebody. Stupid pit call. Don't even get me started. No fist pumps here. Yeah, your fist pumps for 4th and 5th. This ain't Haas.
We'll get to that. We'll get to a lot of that later.
Because you're the fool.
Gunther Steiner should be tuning in because we'll get to a lot of that Haas talk in a little bit. Maybe not a lot of Haas talk.
But besides that, getting back to the race itself, Max only a 9-second win. So it's not the dominant Red Bull performance that we've seen throughout the year. It definitely seems that the upgrades at Aston and Merc have definitely helped. Little battle between them, I think, going on. That'll probably be your battle for second place right now, unless Ferrari really gets their act together.
If Sergio
Lance Stroll has to really get moving. I had a little something else for you. A question right here. Will Aston Martin ever win a constructor's title? They're putting all this money into the team, new top-notch facilities. Will they ever win the constructors' championship with Lance Stroll as a driver?
I was literally going to say, as long as they didn't have Lance Stroll as a driver, and it's difficult to make that separation, especially with all the money coming in from the Stroll family. But at some point, if you want to win, you're going to have to make a move. And
I mean, he had a good race today, 9th in his home Grand Prix. Got to give it to him there. But there's no
you don't have to give it to him there. Absolutely not. If a 41-year-old's coming in second, get the hell out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Give it to him. Was it 2 points? Your teammate got 18. You got 2 points. It's a big difference. You got 9 times more points. Get out of here. Go ahead.
I
They're
can't
terrible.
help.
Lance Stroll is there's no excuse for Lance Stroll to not be coming in top 8 every single week at least. He should not be outside of the top 8. If that's a top 4 vehicle, if he's finishing the race outside of anything, he should be coming in top 8 every week. Just like all the top 4 teams.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there.
Anything outside of the top 8 is garbage. And that's the worst case scenario is 8th. And he rarely even does that ever. He stinks. He stinks. And he should be replaced. And they should have the balls to do it. But they don't. And if they want to win, they better have the balls to do it. And make a move for a more talented driver. And there are more talented drivers out there. Do you disagree with anything I'm saying?
No. Well, I just enjoy you fired up, that's all.
Damn straight. Because I'm pissed. Because my Green Bucks stack is dwindling. We'll get to that later, too. Listen, I'm going to end right here. Stick around, because we do have Greenie Bucks. We got winners and losers. I'm going to slap somebody hard tonight. I'm taking it. I don't even care what you have to say. I don't even know who you got on your sheet. Throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash because I'm fired up. Greenie the cheese and the Paddock F1. Be back in like 10 seconds. Oh, that's right. We're back. Greenie the cheese in the Paddock F1. Yeah, I know you're ready to roll with these questions. I usually say I'm not ready, but I'm ready. Give it to me.
Wow, right off the bat, here we go.
No, we're coming right in. We're coming right in because I need to get.
I like it.
I hope I lose this week, so we go right into losers. Let's go right into slap. If I get all 3 wrong, we're right into slap. Starting out hot. I don't think I'll get all 3. I don't think I ever got all 3 wrong. Maybe I did last time.
Oh, all right, here we go. Quizmaster's Cockpit. 3 questions. Purple sector and red sectors.
Nothing in between.
Nothing in between. And that determines how we go into winners and losers. How Michael does. So here we go. Question 1, sir. When was the first Grand Prix? The Canadian Grand Prix, held at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Oh, 9?
1978.
78.
Not even close. 09. 09. F1 historian my ass. Question 2. You should get this one. 2 drivers are tied for the most wins at the Canadian Grand Prix with 7. Who are they?
All right, I can't even fake that answer now. I was trying to get 3 wrong, but I can't go. I'm gonna embarrass myself. Give the 09. Thought I'd get more of a laugh out of that one.
That was just shameful. 09.
I knew the answer.
I
wasn't 100% sure.
If I could ghost dad you, I would do that right now for an 09 answer. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I knew. I forgot it was 78. I know the first year was 67, but the 2 drivers that have the most wins are Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher, both with 7.
That is correct, sir.
That's a gimme. I couldn't even fake that one.
Before moving to Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Canadian Grand Prix was held at Mossport Park. The last race held there was 1977. What driver won that race?
1977. Hell, 177. was Mario, was it?
It was not Mario. It was Jody Scheckler.
Jody Scheckter.
He is the winner there. So that's
1979 world champ.
That's 2 out of 3. So that means we're going right into losers.
Right into losers.
Right into losers. Sergio Perez. Only 12th in quali. Not good enough. Gets up to 6th, but you're in a Red Bull.
That's not good enough.
It's not good enough.
That's not good enough. Third at worst.
To be honest, in Red Bull's eyes, anything below second, you're rubbish. Especially with the car they got.
I would say podium.
I'll give you third.
Podium or bust.
But I'll give you
third.
Say
podium or bust.
But I was just going to say podium or bust. So it's not good enough. Derry Naskin, Christian Horner for the race. What can you do to get Sergio back on track? Only one that can do that is Sergio himself. Or he ain't going to have that job no more. It's going to get his papers. That's what it's looking like, to be honest. Especially with the infighting that I've heard is going on. And I'm going to go Lando Norris. Rough break there with that 5-second penalty. Probably a bit harsh.
A bit harsh.
Just a bit harsh. Would have had a points place finish. But because of your penalty, you're 13th. Those will be my losers.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the other side of the paddock in there and do Oscar Piastri as well. Come on, man. Both freaking cars, McLaren. Come on. No points for McLaren this weekend. You got the unsportsmanlike conduct. You got Piastri. Come on. I know Oscar's still a rookie, but no points. Come on. And come on, Haas. I don't care. I don't care that you didn't get any points this weekend. I care how you didn't get points. It's one mistake every single week. And it's just terrible. Absolutely terrible. You start 5th, you have to get points. If you start in the 3rd row, you have to get points, Nico Hulkenberg. Come on. And I know he excels in the wets, and that's kind of why, and he had the red flag. But still, he made it to P3 or Q3. Come on. 15th? You start 5th? Absolutely ridiculous. Who else I got over here? That's all I got. Let's go to winners. We got some winners.
I got some winners. Alex Albon. P9 and a Williams. How about that? Super drive from Alex. Super drive. Good in the wets and kept it up front and kept it up in there the whole race. Very well done by Alex. Really showing his driving skills back there in that Williams. And we mentioned a bit in the first segment, but Ferrari, you got to put them in the winners column this week, 4th and 5th. Solid points. Solid points all. They needed that bad. So bad. They needed a big solid points all. Still got to get their act together, get it straight, but we'll put them in the winners column this week. And those will be my winners.
Got to go with Valtteri Bottas on my end, man.
A
single point, but he'll take a single point. We've been beating him up. He's looked at times this season like he's not an F1 driver anymore, and he proved today. And listen, that he doesn't have the car's all over the place, and you can see with Joe coming out of the back, but starting 14th and finishing 10th. Got to give it up to him. And I'm going to go a little bit different for winners this week. And I'm going to go with a guy who didn't finish at all. That's Logan Sargent. The engine breakdown, but the veteran move to get off the track immediately. That's not something you see rookies always doing.
No. No, to find the spot where the marshals are right there, so they can get the car off quick.
I mean, that was a veteran move right there from Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
Got to give it up to him. His first race of the year, he does DNF, so it's almost like his first winner ever here on the show. And that was a pro move, man.
It's for a DNF.
It's a DNF, but that's a pro move. I was very impressed. And those are my winners.
I need to slap my goddamn self for that.
That's right. You got to slap your goddamn self for that. I'm gonna give as I take a hard right turn here because I'm looking at you, Gunther Steiner. Come on, man. Bernie Eccleston comes out this week. He's pissed. Why is he pissed? Because he's looking at the two drivers out there in Haas who are just called losers. That's right. Both of them are losers now. And he's saying, why is Mick Schumacher sitting over there with Mercedes? Why is he hanging out with the big boys? You don't got Mick. It's not like this team is any good. It's not like these drivers are any good. Come on, every single week there are losers. Every week. Every week. Nico Hulkenberg was plowing a farm in Australia 2 years ago. K-Mag wasn't even in F1. And you're talking about scoring points every week? You're talking about you're trying to put a team on the track that's going to score points every single race, every single time out? That's your goal? You're not even close. You're scoring no points every week. You're back to where you were 3 years ago. You're just completely taking this team backwards. Completely.
It's fair.
And I don't know if the whole drive to survive nonsense got to his head or
Probably.
what the heck is going on. But you're not that good. And this is not a team that's scoring consistent points. Any points. They're not scoring any points, let alone consistent points. And I mean, if Lewis Hamilton's last season in a Merc is here, and potentially Mick Schumacher might take that spot next year. And if he has any success in that vehicle, it's going to be quite embarrassing for Haas. And yeah, this is all according to Bernie Eccleston, and I don't disagree with him.
Get out that powder.
Get out that powder and slap yourself, Gunther Steiner. Get off your high horse. Slap yourself. The only reason you got any credit, or at least any, not credit, but slack over the last year or 2 years ago was because you had to deal with Nikita Mazepin, who I never thought I would say his name again on this show, but you were painted in a corner with one of the worst Formula One drivers to ever take a grid, at least in the last decade, in Nikita Mazepin. You had to deal with him because Uralkali was the biggest sponsor, basically put that car on the track every week. Yeah, it's just a joke. Time's up. Time's up.
Fire him!
It can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. I'm done. I'm done. We done here? Ready for the next segment? I'm going to take a break. We're on fire tonight. Hopefully we can take a view over the meadows of the cannabis trees, because I know what's coming up. I hear the steel drums in the distance. Greeny the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Oh, of course, the new season 2023 of Formula One on YouTube. Check it out. Greeny and the Cheese on YouTube. Check it out. Cheese has the best Formula One career mode I've seen. I've only seen yours, but I've seen it. Hitting that PS5. He's got the steering wheel. He's getting the workout. Those forearms are getting pretty big, man. Something to get jacked.
I've been putting in some laps there.
Putting some laps down on the wheel. So go check that out. Just type in Greeny and the Cheese in YouTube. That'll come right up. But Greeny and the Cheese F1, the Paddock F1, we're back in a flash.
Oh, yeah. In the paddock F1, greeting the cheese. You know what that sound means, boys and girls? That's right. It's time to take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greentopia, where the beer flows like wine and the wine flows like beer. And the cannabis grows as far as the eye can see. Look at it.
Look at that.
Green and luscious. Take a little whiff. That air smells fantastic. And you know what? Take another little whiff because it smells a little sweeter this week. You got those tickets in hand as we head to the top of the hill, that casino in the sky. Are we cashing in? Or are we checking out?
I didn't lose that much this week. We both had Max Verstappen for the win because this is an easy one at this point. You don't get paid out as much as I'd like to, as much as if Fernando Alonso won or something. But we both took Max because that's the right thing to do. So we both took a win on that. That's about where my wins ended. Let's go to your loss, your one loss, which was before we get to your trifecta win there.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you had Max, Alonso, and Lewis Hamilton. So you hit the trifecta. I did not. I was thinking Fernando Alonso would get a little punchy and try to take out, go for Max. And so I had Verstappen, Hamilton, Russell, who didn't even finish the race. So you won some bucks this week.
I'm not going to lie. When Russell hit the wall, I had a big S-eating grin on my face, and then I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed. As I knew your trifecta went up in smoke.
That's tough, man. Usually, listen, we have not hit too many trifectas this year. I think this might be the first or second, maybe the first trifecta you've hit this year. Wasn't a huge payout, but decent enough. You got 6.5 to 1 on your trifecta, which puts you at 5,650 greenie bucks. Me at 4,800 greenie bucks. Baseline was 5,000, so therefore I'm negative 200. You're plus 650, which is an 850 greenie dollar gap.
This early in the season already, huh?
So you're up by like 20% ish, something like that around now. Keep laughing. We got plenty of races to go.
Because I'm laughing because I know what's coming. I know what's coming. The Mad Hatter's coming.
You gotta put big bets in if you're gonna win.
Gotta push the stack.
I'm not pushing the stack yet. Let's pump the brakes there. We're not pushing the stack. It's way too early. It's not even July yet. I'm pushing the stack. But we might get a little loose. Might get a little, how they say, the Mad Hatter might return. So stay tuned for that.
He's definitely coming back.
There might be something in the mail right now. All right.
Oh, it's time for our new segment.
That's right.
In the news.
And we got headlines in a hat over here. I got a bunch of headlines in my hat that I am shaking. And I have some headlines for you, sir. But you also have some headlines in your hat for me. So now we play a little game called Headlines in a Hat. You got something for me? You got a headline for me?
I was just asking. Just gonna ask who's starting off here. Let's see. We got a good one. Is Nick DeVries in danger of losing his seat already?
You know, I did not like I don't think anyone liked what we saw today. I think it was lap 26. Forget. Top of my head, but definitely gave the opportunity there for George Russell to make a pass. I believe we had a little kerfuffle there with Yuki Tsunoda.
What about the move with K-Mag? What about the move with K-Mag? What about the move with K-Mag?
The move with K-Mag.
when he locked it up and forced K-Mag to lock it up and go into the off-road there in turn 3.
Yeah, I think we're seeing rookie mistakes. Nick DeVries, he had a couple good races. He showed some signs last season.
He had one
He
race
showed some
last
signs
year.
this season. I think you give him some time. I don't think he's done quite yet. I think these are rookie mistakes, and I think he'll overcome them.
Well, he's under a lot of pressure right now at AlphaTauri.
Sounds like every year everyone's under pressure in AlphaTauri. What else is new? I don't want to say that's not news, but
What you got for me?
All right, let me go deep in the hat here. Deep in the hat, we're picking out. Zach Brown says F1 is just getting started in the U.S. Do you see tremendous growth in the next couple of years in Formula One in the U.S.? Or is this it? Is this the peak here? You got Vegas coming up, or is this just the beginning?
I don't think so. I think it's definitely going to keep increasing. I don't know if you're going to keep 3 Grand Prix here. That's a bit of a stretch, especially with the amount of places that want a Grand Prix. Having 3 is a big deal. 2 in big party-esque destinations definitely helps. Being on a big network in the States, that definitely helps. But I think it's just getting started. NASCAR's, which was the bigger sport here, you'd say, has definitely taken a step backwards. And Formula One's kind of jumped into that spot. So yeah, I can see it. I see it keep growing. Absolutely in the States.
Yeah, I think Formula One's if not already, will be the premier motorsport in the U.S. I think its numbers are going to exceed, if not already, NASCAR and probably not NASCAR, but IndyCar. I'm sure they're competitive. I haven't seen the numbers, but yeah, I think over the next 3 to 5 years, I think Formula One races will be the number one dominant races. And I think we're going to see potentially what we saw like in 05, 06 during the Schumacher days, where those races globally were up there with the Super Bowl numbers, some of the races throughout those years. And I think we can get back there, and it's going to take a U.S. audience to get back there.
It'll help if you get a U.S. driver in a competitive team as well.
Yes.
That would definitely help a lot more.
All right, what do you got for me in the news? Give me a headline and then that hat of yours. Shake it up. Go all the way down. Give me a good question over the bottom of the hat.
Will Fernando Alonso win a race this season?
If Max Verstappen has engine problems, which reliability, listen, I know this is not the question, but reliability is very impressive this year. Vehicle reliability is more impressive than I remember in years. So I'm going to say no. Even though he's coming in second every week, I think that Red Bull is so reliable that I think Max is going to win every race this season. So no.
Well, Vehicle Gremlin will catch up a Max at some point. At some point, a Vehicle Gremlin's going to get you. That's just how racing is. It'll happen somewhere. I say yes.
And also, you have to double it, right? You have to say vehicle reliability for long enough. Upgrades from Mercedes. I mean, clearly, Fernando Alonso was quicker in the turns, at least today, than Lewis Hamilton was today. He was definitely quicker in the turns, and that was the difference in the race. Keeping Fernando Alonso. I mean, when he passed Lewis, he went right past Lewis. But I think you still have Ferrari on the come up. I think you have Mercedes making a lot of improvements as well. And the reliability of Red Bull is very impressive. So a lot of things have to go right for Fernando to win a race.
Things got to go right. You want to win a race tonight.
Because it wasn't, do you think he's going to win a race? It's like, is he going to win a race? And I said, no.
I think he is.
All right.
I think he is. He's driving very well. Gremlin's going to get Red Bull at some point. That's just how it is.
Deep in the hat here. Deep in the hat. This will be your last question of the segment here. This was the controversy of the weekend. Here we go. Jacques Villeneuve hits out against abuse over Leclerc F1 helmet. Apparently, there was multiple news sources reporting that the Villeneuve family was not informed that Charles Leclerc was going to wear a commemorative helmet for Jacques Villeneuve. They were pissed off, not knowing, blindsided with the helmet. This is a big deal. Just get over it. Some more commemorative helmet.
I mean, Ferrari should have reached out, said something. I think the Villeneuve family might have made this a bigger deal than it really is. It's a commemorative helmet.
They said it was abuse.
I don't know about that. That's a bit much. That's a bit much.
All right, let's finish the segment and this show on a high note here. Give me one more question. Give it to me. Get in that hat. Get deep in that hat.
Alex Albon.
Ooh.
It's a great performance today. P7. What team will he be driving for next? He's been putting in good finishes in the Williams. Showing off some very good driving skills. Somebody's definitely going to want him.
I'd like to see him as the number 2 driver at Red Bull. I think it'd be very fascinating. I think Alex Albon has a personality that if he wasn't driving a Williams, he'd be a much, much more popular driver. If he's driving a Ferrari in a Merc,
I agree with that.
or in a Red Bull, he would be one of the most popular drivers. He would be the new Lando Norris. I think he'd be at that level. Because Lando's star is fading in this McLaren now. He was the hot to trot when McLaren had a much better car, and now McLaren's vehicles is forcing someone like Lando Norris down, right? And Oscar Piastri is definitely an up and comer. He's still very young, but yeah, that's what I think. I think F1 needs Alex Albon to go to Red Bull. I think they need that star. I don't think Sergio Perez, as good as he could be, is ever going to be that star that Alex Albon can be. Thoughts on that?
Right now, I might take him over to Ferrari, to be honest. Take over Carlos's seat, because he's probably not going to be there with the performances he's been putting in.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz has had. How many times has he cried this year? We'll get into that in another week. He'll cry again. It's rough out there.
Cry again.
You also see how you do.
Wasn't that a movie, the Seinfeld episode?
Seinfeld. That's how he got famous, right? Bootleg movies. She cried, and then she cried again. All right, where are we going next, Cheese?
Next up is Austria.
Ooh.
In a fortnight's time.
All right, we will see you at the Austrian Grand Prix post-race. And once again, if you have listened this far in the show, then you may want to hear us a little more, or at least Cheese a little more. And so go to YouTube, Greenie and the Cheese. Take a look at all of Formula 123 action from the Cheese, and eventually we'll consistently start getting up some videos and simulcasts of the show once I stop breaking all of our equipment every week, and so we can try to get that going. We'll work on that. More Mad Hatter in 2 weeks. We should be expecting some Mad Hatter business going on, because it is time to take back the crown. Cheese, any lasting words of wisdom before we depart?
We'll catch you in a fortnight's time, and as always, stay medicated, my friends.